Thanks for coming all the way down here to Rio. It's been a pleasure to receiving all the crypto community in my hometown. I think it's the first big Ethereum event that is happening in Rio.
Yeah, and as well, it's my first time in Rio, and great to see the crypto developments here. So, can you tell us how did you get into crypto? Which year was it?
So I got into crypto. I got into crypto was probably 2011, 2012, which I started hearing about it and just started buying Bitcoin. And then I think I saw a talk about how in the future Bitcoin would have like DAOs and prediction markets and tokens. My mind was blown away until it wasn't, because nobody was doing any of that in Bitcoin. And then that's how I found out about Ethereum. And it was very early days. I even had done the crowd sale yet. And I started like just messaging people. And back then you could just send a message and Gavin Wood would answer you back and say, yes, I need some design help. And that's how I started helping them with like presentations and logos and shirts. And then suddenly when they raised money, they could start hiring people, and I became one of the first hires in FDev.
So you mentioned that you got into crypto in 2011. So how did you know about Bitcoin so early?
It's funny because everyone feels like whenever they enter in crypto, it was when it became popular, right? Because suddenly we're seen everywhere. That was my feeling also. I saw it, I read it in some blog posts, and I heard it in a few podcasts. Like Planet Money did an episode in 2011. Like there was a Good Wife episode about Bitcoin in 2012. So what we call mainstream today it always feels like, oh, it's entering mainstream. It's on TV. There's no much more mainstream than that. And then suddenly we need, like, I can see now now it's really getting mainstream, and not then. But back then, it really just felt that everybody was talking about it.
Did you see immediately the value of Bitcoin, or did you have any doubts? Maybe like it doesn't worth it?
I didn't, like, it took me a while to understand it, like how does it work, why does it work. I think when I decided to dive in was I realized, look, this isn't going anywhere, this thing is here to stay, and that really attracted me to it, right? This idea that there's this money, and like during my lifetime, I saw what the internet did to music, I saw what the internet did to press, I saw what the internet what did to newspapers. It just was obvious that like money was next. And so that's why I decided, yeah, I need to dive into this.
And have you been always living in Brazil, or did you live in any other countries?
No, I was born in Brazil, I grew up in Brazil, and growing up in Brazil, I always thought that if I wanted to work in tech, I would have to move out and go to California, go to Berlin, somewhere. And it's been like one of the great pleasures in crypto is that I was able to work in cutting edge technology from my hometown, which you can't do that from anywhere. And I think that's a really big revolution that crypto brought. That was almost accidental, but it's very important.
Yeah, that's the beauty of crypto industry. And how do you see the developments of crypto and blockchain here in Brazil in comparison to other parts of the world?
So, one of the reasons I'm coming to those conferences is because I want to be more in contact with the Rio scene. I see that there's a lot. I think there's a lot of crypto happening in Argentina, and I would blame it on because they right now they have a more unstable currency. But Brazil could be next. So like on the like I bring hyperinflation like targets. I think in Brazil there's a lot of very interesting academic studies. There is a lot of interest in the government in crypto. We have a population that is very connected to the internet, that is very eager to try out new technologies. Everyone is using WhatsApp. And most importantly, last year or a few years ago, the government rolled out the PIX system, which is a completely digital money system that took basically over the market, took over Brazil by storm. And like almost everywhere you can pay, you can pay like an open market. You can buy like an orange with PIX. And that is already like a digital money system. They have the concept of keys, which I think is another reason in which like the Brazil is a very good place for you to grow up a crypto startup.
And as for the merchants, do they accept directly crypto here or not yet?
It's very rare to see merchants accepting direct crypto, but they already accept other types of mobile phone or digital money transactions, which I think is good. And I think it's not, for me, crypto is not only about the money, it's about all the things you can build with it. And I think those things could have a real difference in the lives of Brazilians.
And what were your first ventures in crypto?
My
First ventures, first companies in crypto?
So I started working at the Ethereum Foundation. I worked there for 4 years. I helped to launch the first wallet, the first browser in crypto. It was a very productive time. I really had a lot of fun there. But then I left the Ethereum Foundation. I launched Unilogin, which was like, it was always my attempt on how can I make crypto easier to use? How can I make crypto easier to use? And I thought I had it with like a whole onboarding system. And I created with a Polish friend, which is fantastic, right? It's another thing like it's only can do in crypto. I went in Berlin, met a Polish friend, had another like investor from Italy, and then we made a company together and worked on that for 2 years. That didn't really work out because of gas prices mostly. And then I spent a year working at Balancer doing user research, which was like very eye-opening. Balancer is a DeFi protocol. And then when the ENS airdrop happened, I did ENS is a project I helped found when I was working on the Ethereum wallet, on the Ethereum Foundation. For me, it was just a feature. Like we need to find a way to give away money, like names for everyone. And then when the airdrop came, like last year, it became like a very big project, and I decided maybe it's time to go back there and I can help like steward the project for the good.
But before airdrop, there was not really any monetization from ENS, or?
So ENS has always had monetization because you have to like buy the domain from somewhere. But we always felt that we're not sure who deserved that money, right? So it was one of the things that we always wanted to do in ENS was that we didn't feel that it would be like a valid protocol if we were just creating something that went directly to our pockets, right? So in the first version of ENS, there wasn't even like any particular money being collected. You were just like locking money or burning funds to have your name. Then in the second version, we started having a more simpler $5 per year, and you get to keep your domain. But still, we were not sure that who was the real owner of that money, right? And then like last year, they decided that the best way forward would be really to give all that money to a DAO and give control of that DAO to everyone who had ENS names at that point. And that's what we did. So right now, like whenever you pay for a domain, it's not going to anybody's pockets. It's going to a DAO, which has a very transparent governance that allows us to hire companies to do development work.
And what are the benefits of DAOs for you?
I think the main benefits of DAOs is that it really creates a credible neutrality, right? So if ENS is not, it's a way for us to prove that like me and Nick, we created ENS. It wasn't just to put money on our pockets, right? It's not something that is trying to optimize how much money we can extract from people. In fact, we are doing the opposite. We are trying to minimize the amount of money we can extract from people because we are trying to actually optimize the amount of reach that ENS names have. And I think a DAO is a good way to say, look, this is a neutral protocol. Anyone can come here, anyone can vote for it, anyone can create a company that develops the ENS stuff and ask for the DAO to fund them for their work. And I think that's very beautiful, and it should be an example to not only other companies but also to governments and municipalities on how you do open and transparent governance.
Yes, it's pretty interesting. And particular use case for ENS is for NFTs wallets. So what's your opinion about NFT markets? Do you have yourself a lot of NFTs?
I do not have many NFTs. I've received a few ones from friends. It's funny, ENS is one of the first NFTs. We created ENS before there was even like the name NFT. And back then I like to call them deeds. Because in the end, like that's what you have. Like a deed is just a paper that gives you some property, right? And NFTs in the end is just a piece of, no, it's not a piece of paper of course, but a piece of software that just tells you you are the owner of some property. But the importance of that property really depends on the social layer, right? It depends, for instance, like the value of the NFT of ENS is really all the implementations. Almost every wallet on Ethereum has implemented ENS support, and that's where the value of ENS comes from. And I think NFTs are not valuable by their technical merits, or valuable purely by the community that gives them value, right? So if you're creating an NFT, you are really creating a community, and it depends on how much people are willing to join your community. That's what's beautiful and valuable about it, right?
And what's your opinion about DeFi markets? And do you have any favorite DeFi applications?
Well, I work at Balancer for a year, so I'm a bit biased, but Balancer is as a great, it's almost like a place where you can create DeFi markets out of it. In fact, there are multiple DeFi applications that are nothing more than really like a connection to using Balancer, like a front end for Balancer. And I think it's super fantastic. And it allows you to do some very like creative things. So a great example was like I was involved in the so last year Vitalik gave to Gitcoin, which is a grant program, something was like hundreds of millions of dollars worth of the Akita token, which is basically just a joke token. And everyone in the Gitcoin community really wanted, look, we should just sell everything we have right now. We'll probably crash the price to zero. We'll get $2 million out of it, but that we should do it as fast as possible because this thing is going to crash anyway. And
Vitalik likes meme coins. Vitalik likes donating meme coins.
I mean, I think he doesn't like having meme coins, so he tries to just give them away as fast as he can receive them, right? I think that's actually the fun part of it. It's like, can you imagine trying to explain to your tax auditor that I was donated $1 billion in meme coins, and like that was a joke, I didn't want that, and trying to give them away? It's like, it's crazy, right? And what we did with that meme coins was that instead of having just selling it all, we used Balancer to create a very slow sale that lasts for a year, and both buys Akitas when it goes low, sells Akita when it goes high, and tries to slowly divest of Akita. And the result has been that Gitcoin is getting almost $1 million every month out of that sale. And it's a great, and in a way that did not destroy the community, actually gave value back to the community, because now they have like a huge pool of liquidity. And it's a beautiful way to show you that like we can build very different stuff with DeFi, and it's also shows the power of just connecting communities together. That was like Akita community, the Gitcoin community, the Balancer community, the DeFi community. Everyone was able to just get together by building like a bunch of Lego pieces together and building something new. And I think that's really exciting about DeFi.
Yeah, so sounds pretty interesting.
It is.
And can you share with us some upcoming plans for ENS and Unilogin?
So Unilogin is dead. Unilogin was a project for onboarding that really depended on gas being cheap. One of the things that we thought is, oh, maybe we should give everyone who joins Ethereum, we should give them a free Gnosis wallet. And that seemed like a good idea 2 years ago, but now creating a Gnosis wallet, it just costs you like $50, $100. It's like crazy. So that project's dead. ENS, right now we are developing solutions for layer 2 on ENS to also solve the gas problem, to make them cheaper, to allow you to update information on the registry without having to spend gas. And of course, we are always trying to do like small things and we can do to try to further the reach of ENS and try to see how it can be useful. For example, when Ukraine started accepting crypto donations, I went to OpenSea and realized that Ukraine.eth had been registered and was on sale for someone who was just trying to sell it. I sort of tried to reach that person to see if he could donate a name. I found out another meme coin, Kitty Inu, which is another meme coin community. They decided to buy the name and donate to Ukraine. And then now Vitalik put me in contact with the guys doing like crypto development there to see like how that can be helpful to reach like for more donations. And I think those like small things we can do here and there really help. Like not only we are just really not trying to help like get more people to use ENS, but really for me this is how do I use ENS to get more people to use crypto and to make crypto easier to use, right? I think that's my goal. And my first goal is how do I get more people using crypto and how do I get crypto easier to use? Not necessarily like it's not necessarily about the price of the ENS token or who is using ENS domains.
Yes, it's really great that you support Ukraine and
of course.
Do everything for the good and for the benefit of people.
Of course. I think like crypto should be a push for peace in the whole world. Should be a push against like against governments that try to bury information, that try to censor information, and crypto should be like a force against everything that is not transparent about governance, right? I think one of the next things that I'm really excited about in crypto is DAOs. I think everyone is very like, most people haven't seen the full potential of them, and I think the full potential is really about how do we get transparent and uncorruptible governance in the crypto sphere, right? We can do it for $1 billion of meme tokens. We can certainly do for real countries.
Yeah, I agree with you. And can you share with us some altcoin picks? Do you like any specific project?
So I never sold tokens, like in the sense like I'm not a token seller. I don't try to get other people to buy tokens. But my opinion is join a community, and if that community is a community you like and they have a token, they have an NFT, then buy that. And most important, like learn about it, because I think that's the most important thing. Not trying to just throw darts at coins and try to figure out what goes up and down.
So you obviously like a Ethereum ENS holder as well. You told that you got these layer 2 solutions. Do you have any priority for layer 2 solution? Which one is your favorite?
So first of all, I like layer 2 solutions that are working out there on the market, right? So I think if you can do something like go there and use them. But of course, like I really hold hope for zero knowledge proof solutions, especially things like the Aztec network that promises to give everyone privacy. I think privacy is one of the biggest leaks that we have on crypto. In that, like, I think this is a price we are all going to pay someday, because we are leaking so much financial information right now, and there might be a point in which it's almost too late to become to go to a privacy-oriented like chain. And so I hold hope for the zero knowledge proofs to do that. But other than that, ENS in particularly, we are not tying ourselves to any particular layer 2. What we are trying to do is create a method in which you can set up a subdomain to point to an off-chain solution in which your subdomains and your information, your registry, everything will simply go to you'll be able to record all that information off-chain in any layer 2 that you pick.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you for coming to my city, and I hope peace comes back to Europe soon.
Hopefully, thank you.
Thank you.